television. Everybody go watch RuPaul's Drag Race UK versus the World 3. So good.
T. Cosine.
Drop this Zoom link a couple places.
Zoom link or YouTube link?
YouTube link, Jesus God, that's fine.
Making sure.
It's fine. We're fine. We are fine. And then actually going to send it to me for the first time this season to the actual server.
Mm.
Alrighty. Welcome to the final tribal council of season 19 of CTC Survivor Peru, not Fiji, final time. Um, Jared and Nick, congratulations again on making it here. You now need to impress the 9 people that you sent to the jury, indirectly or directly. So, we're gonna start off with opening statements. How this is gonna work is you're gonna have 5 minutes to address them however you'd like. Um, Once you hit the 5 minutes, if you're still going, I am going to hard cut you off. So just be mindful of the timer that you see. Jared, as the winner of the final immunity challenge, you get to decide the order. Keep in mind that the order for closing statements will be reversed. So if you decide to go first, you will go last in final, and then vice versa.
I'm going to go first this time and last in the second.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, I'm gonna pull my timer up, and you have 5 minutes. And as soon as you see the 5 minutes show up beside my face, you are good to start. All right, here we go.
Okay, perfect. First of all, thank you all. Pre-jury, jury, thank you all for this season. As a massive fan of the show, it truly has been an honor to be part of a season with so many moving parts as this season had. And I truly believe every single person on this cast played a role in that. So thank you for that. The next thing that I want to get into, I know I have so much I need to answer for with my actions this season. I know a lot of you guys are not happy with what I've done this season, and I'm prepared to own that tonight. Whatever questions you have, whether the good or the bad, I want you to ask them. I want to own what I have done this game, and I want you guys to address anything you've got with me. When I first came into this game, I had the following philosophy: be aggressive socially, not strategically. I wanted to hit the ground running right away with forming relationships with every single person on the tribe and maintaining those as much as possible without pushing things farther than they needed to go right off the bat. And I think part of that is because Bamba got very lucky the first part of the game where we won 3 challenges in a row and didn't need to test those relationships. One of the most crucial relationships I've formed, which I'll get into later, is with Jake. Jake was my ride or die in this game, and I'll get into this later. I was a messy ally and not a great ally for him. And but his relationship really was crucial when it came to the merge, and I'll get into that in a little bit. When the swap came around, same philosophy. Maintain relationships with people, and that's where I revealed my steal a vote only to Alex and Bailey in order to build trust with them, hopefully going into the swap, going into the merge. Obviously, that information got revealed after Alex got voted out, but it was still a risk I was willing to take. When the merge came around, things derailed for me significantly. I made so many mistakes, a lot of which were based on tunnel vision and blindly trusting other people. The worst mistake I made by far was when I accidentally leaked a message meant for my confessional chat to Siren about how I think Jake could potentially be someone to get voted out. Of all the mistakes I've made throughout this game, that one was by far the worst mistake I made. And that is my biggest regret on top of all the mistakes I made. That being said, that time in the game was also very crucial for me, where I made arguably, or I participated in arguably the biggest move of the season by blindsiding Val. And the reason that was so crucial is because Jake was not the person getting voted out. Duke and Bailey and I had an alliance called the Cockroaches. And Duke pushed for Jake to be voted out over Val because he saw Jake as someone under the radar. I wanted to push back on that and say Val should be the person getting voted out because if we don't take the shot, getting rid of Jake won't do anything for our games. But the truth of the matter is he was my number one, and I wanted to stick the landing on Val, and it hit. I will say, though, because of all the mistakes I made the first part of Merge, I had two options. One, I could just roll over and die and give up. The other option was accept the decisions that I made and use that to propel me going into the end game. I found option two more appealing, and that's the option that I took. The second part of the merge is what I like to call as my rebounding phase of the game. For all the talks about me having the worst reads in the game, which I don't think is an inaccurate statement even by the end of this game, I managed to win my first individual immunity challenge, which was touchy subjects, a challenge which was all about reading other people's opinions about other people in the game. This immunity was crucial because this resulted in a very important blind set against Siren, who would have won immunity if I didn't win that tiebreaker. This almost proved to be a very fatal decision on not targeting Duke because Duke proceeded to go on an immunity streak. But by the time Final 3 rolled around, I had one shot to take out the biggest threat to win. And I won, and I did not miss. Despite how all over the place I was, I can say I'm the only person in this game that has been on the right side of every single tribal council I have attended. You could argue me voting for Bailey at the Carter vote was not on the right side of the vote, but I knew Carter was going home and I just didn't want to avoid any shenanigans. Anyways, I know I'm cut short. I hope to hear more from you guys.
Did it play
Yeah.
did it play music on your end when that happened?
Yes.
It did.
I didn't
It
notice
did.
that. Okay. Well, all right. I'm gonna before Nick, before I start you, I'm gonna do like a test thing here. Okay, it does not show up if my camera is
We
not
can
on.
still see it in the upper right, John, so you're good.
Can you? Okay. Nick, is that good for you with it being up there?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right, cool. All right, I'm gonna stop it. And Nick, are you ready then?
Yeah.
All right. Your time's gonna start now.
All right. Hey, bitches. I am so incredibly thankful to be sitting here tonight, but also incredibly confident in the game that I have played. I ate this shit the fuck down and left no fucking crumbs. I really wanted to come into this game and change up my gameplay since I'm never able to get the crown, so I'm hungry for that shit tonight, bitch. My game was built on relationships, information, and intentional decision making. But more importantly, I used those relationships to control where the game went. I didn't rely on advantages or immunity wins. I relied on positioning myself so that no matter what happens, I was never going home. Early on, I built multiple close relationships with Duke, Val, and Jake. They all saw me as their number one. That gave me a foundation where I wasn't just included in decisions, I was influencing them. I always need to have a number one in games, and since everyone and their mother told me how much Duke was obsessed with me, I had complete confidence that he wanted to work closely with me. That is when the iconic duo of Nuke was born. I was able to make more key relationships with Aaliyah and Rocky on our swap tribe. So, although I only went to one tribal pre-merge, I was using this time to set myself up for the war that was brewing. These relationships blossomed for me during the merge, especially once Val was blindsided. The reason I was able to stay in control after Val left wasn't luck. It was my secret weapon. Information, bitch. I decided to not hold a grudge against Duke, and I did not let my emotions get the best of me, and I continued our partnership. I also decided to play into the perception that I was not happy with him, because even though I was really pissed the fuck off with him, I knew that I had to keep working with him. Duke let me know that both Bailey and Jared were labeling me as the mastermind of the season, which I mean is a cute look, but I don't need that going around for my game. Jared also later confirmed this to me as well. Meanwhile, Bailey was trusting me enough to reveal the idol information to me that was being shared between Jared and Jake, and also about all the counter alliances that were being formed behind my back. So, because of that, I wasn't reacting to the game, I was acting ahead of the game. All that information only came to me because of the trust I built with each of you. Jake trusted me enough to make me his number one. Siren returned to the game and put a lot of her trust in me. Bailey trusted me enough to confirm where the game was heading. And Jared trusted me enough to tell me what his true intentions were. Even in moments where my name was going around, I was being told about it. I was not the person being blindsided. To me, that's the difference between being in the game and understanding what the hell is going on in the game. When I found out Bailey was targeting me, I used that information he gave me to flip the narrative and turn the vote onto him. That was me taking control of a situation where I should have definitely fucking gone home. I knew that if someone was onto my gameplay, they had to fucking go. From that point forward, I consistently positioned myself as the deciding vote, meaning every single side needed me and I was never in danger. Going into that live night, I recognized that my alliance structure would put me on the bottom if I didn't act. So I redirected the vote away from Duke and onto Siren, and that ensured Jake left next. Both moves keeping me in the center of power instead of the bottom of the numbers. I knew that Hannah and Jake had a really bad relation, or Hannah and Jared had a really bad relationship, whereas I had a really good relationship with Hannah. And I also knew that Jared and Jake had a closer relationship than I thought. So I knew that it was time for Jake to go. This made me put my foot down during the live night and say that Jake should be the boot over Hannah. This left me in the power position going into the final five. Jared and Duke needed me, as did Aaliyah and Hannah. And the same thing happened at Final Four and Final Three. It was the same situation where I set myself up to be the only person that was never going home. And that brings us here to tonight, where I sit next to Jared, someone who constantly needed the relationships and numbers that I had already built. I wasn't allowing the direction of the game to just be something that I was following. I was helping shape it. Jared was messy with his information. I was calculated. I didn't just make it to the end. I built the game where I always had options, always had information, and always had a path moving forward. This wasn't a passive game. This was an intentionally controlled game from start to finish. That is why I believe I played the most complete game tonight, and I ask for your vote. I am really fucking excited to talk about this season with you all tonight. And I am so happy to fucking be here. That is all.
Alrighty. Thank you, Mr. Nick City. All right, we're gonna go to our jury now. So I'm going to start us off with Carter. Carter, you are free to come on camera and show us yourself.
Hello, everyone.
Carter, you're gonna have 7 minutes.
Okay,
And I'm gonna start it now.
okay. So right now, I have a question for Jared. Since I really wasn't in the game that often, I don't really have that much good read on everything. But what I've gathered from the jury is seems to be jury is very pissed off at you and how you constantly got information and then immediately reported it back to somebody. You were a big yipper yapper on info. And my question to you is, was that an intentional strategy for you to leak all the information everybody told you, or was that not intentional?
So my answer to that is sort of yes, sort of no. I did reveal information right away, but I wanted to reveal information to people that I believed I could trust with that information. Now, one of the things I noted in my intro speech is that I had blindly trusted certain people that they wouldn't tell other people. That was a massive, massive mistake that I made throughout the game, where I wanted to put my trust in certain people by giving them that information. And I underestimated how strong other people's relationships are with each other. So when I got the reputation of being a leaker, it was because I told information to, unfortunately, the wrong people that I had put a level of trust in that I probably should not have. You're on mute, by the way.
Oh, my bad. Okay, so Nick, I never really got a chance to talk to you all that often, like at all in the game.
Mhm.
So my general question for you is, what is one move that you can say that is your solely move that you had no help in others?
Well, I mean, I feel like my positioning is like my big spiel on why I should win the game because the vote was never going to be me, except when Bailey wanted me out. And I had heard that Bailey wanted me out because of Duke and later on because of Jared. And that round, so I was in an alliance with myself, Jake, Hannah, and Siren. And that round, they were kind of pushing for Duke to go. And I was able to lie to that alliance and say to them that Aaliyah did not want to vote for Duke and that she would rather it be Jared or Bailey instead, when Aaliyah never told me that. So I was lying to them in order to get the vote away from Duke and on to Bailey instead, because I knew that Bailey was the only person in the game that was actively targeting me. So, I mean, I used help from other people, of course, but I feel like my lie there and me persuading people to go a different way, I would definitely claim that I was the reason why Bailey left.
Okay, thank you. I think I have everything covered. Respect for you both. It's very difficult to get to this point, and good luck on each of you.
Thank you, Carter. Alrighty. Our next juror, hailing from the great city of Baltimore, Maryland, is Rocky. Rocky, whenever you are ready.
Well, hello. Hi. Great to see both of you. Yeah.
Hey, bitch.
Hey, bitch. Hi, Jared. So my question for both of you is very simple. Rip each other to shreds. Why should I vote for the other person? And if I shouldn't vote for the other person, tell me why.
So I'm sorry, you wanted me to say why you should vote for Jared?
Yeah, tell me why I should vote for the other person. And if I shouldn't, then tell me why I shouldn't either.
Okay, well, I think that reasons why you should vote for Jared is because I think that he was targeted the whole game and he was able to still make it to the final two chairs. And I think that's something really impressive about Jared's game is that he did vote, or yeah, he got Duke out. Like he was the only one of us that could beat Duke in a challenge and got Duke out of the game. And like, I'm not gonna sit here and say I wasn't gonna do that because I was if I won the final challenge, but I wasn't able to do it. So hats off to Jared for that. But I also think that Jared was a messy ass bitch, and we called him Jared Flippin' for a reason because Jared would love to go around and tell everyone and their mother who was going home 5 minutes before tribal. And when you were supposed to leave, when you did leave Rocky, it was not supposed to be that many votes against your ass, girl. It was supposed to be some other people were not supposed to know about that, but Jared's big ass mouth loves to go and yap. So I felt like I was a lot more calculated with my information and with what I told to people. And I don't think Jared was as calculated as I was at all. So that's why I don't think you should vote for him.
Okay, same for Jared. You can give me why I should and then also why I shouldn't.
Sounds good. So I would say with Nick, Nick was so much more consistent of a player than I was. He was on top of his shit from day one. He had those relationships that he formed at the beginning of the game with you at swap, and he used those to better position himself in a way that was really the antithesis of what I did, where I was very all over the place with how I shared my information. Nick was very careful. In my opinion, the best Survivor players are the ones that know how to hold information and use it at the exact right time. What I will say about Nick, and this is in the grand scheme of things a very minor thing, he was not always in the know of what was going on with every single vote. Um, I I said this at the very beginning. I believe that I finished the game stronger than Nick did because I had Nick was said that he was in a situation where he was never going home. I was also very well insulated. Not maybe not as much as Nick was, but I was at a point where Jake probably was not voting me out. Aaliyah wanted to go to final two with me. Nick was going to take me to the end. Duke was the big question mark, but I was the one that got him out and put him on the jury. Nick does not have that distinction. So I would say that's why you shouldn't vote for Nick. But again, in the grand scheme of things, I do think that he is a very consistent player overall.
Well, genuinely, congratulations to you both. You did what most of us couldn't do, so I'm very happy to see how everything turns out. So, good luck to you both.
Thank you.
Alrighty, thank you so much, Rocky. Next up is our third member of the jury, Val. Right, Val, you are
Hi.
ready to go whenever.
Why am I so nervous? Okay. Okay, so first of all, let me say that I feel like I played the game pretty closely, at least to a certain extent, with both of you. Definitely one more than the other. Um, Baby, I was onto your gameplay, Nick, and I fucking love it because that's how I typically play, and you fucking killed it. I was gonna start with you, Jared, but now I'm starting with Nick. Everything you said in your opening speech, Nick, was key on point. I am thrilled that you said it all. I think that is what the people need to hear. Everything that you did that is not in neon writing, each and every single one is a move. And so, like, you absolutely killed it. And I'm so happy that so far it sounds like you are really able to portray that for people because I did work really closely with you and I did see your game, bitch, but that doesn't mean everybody did. And so you need to talk to them. They need to hear it. I mean, honestly, like no notes. I don't know. I missed you. Um, I said it before, information, positioning yourself. I mean, these are all moves. That's exactly what you do. It's a little bit more defensive, but also it's also offensive because anyways, I, um, I don't know. You killed it. Okay. Jared, I'll probably come back to you, Nick. All right, Jared. I have notes for some reason. Jared, you were also in a really great position early in the game. You did build really great relationships, and then for no reason at all, you decided to ruin them all. Play chaotically for no reason, and create your own target just to like be a target just for targets and chaos sake when you didn't need to. Um, I I'm sorry, but I feel like being chaotic and spilling information and jumping from like left to right and front to back every single round is such an easy way to play the game, and anybody can do it. I think a more calculated, smarter, like you said, the best players that you know hold on to information that is significantly harder to do. Um, I think that you had a path for sure otherwise, and you chose not to take that, or you made too many mistakes, or whatever it was. I don't know. So, I don't know that I have any questions for either of you. Let me see. Yeah. I think one thing too, I'll add, Jared, is that you and I had a very specific conversation about like your previous gameplay and what you wanted to correct, which we all do. We want to correct and do better every single time we play. And we had a very specific conversation about like just don't overcorrect, just don't let the pendulum swing
Yeah.
in the opposite direction. And I mean, that's exactly what you did.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know. So I mean, feel free to comment. I guess I don't really have any questions for either of you. There's about 3 minutes left, maybe a minute and a half each.
Yeah, I'll add to what your point is. And you're not the only one that brought this up with me. I had conversations with Duke and Bailey and a few other people. something that I've learned about myself is that, like you said, I really wanted to make sure I didn't repeat the same mistakes as I did in my last game. Like, I was so afraid of saying information to people because I didn't want to get myself in trouble. Coming into this game, I had to be willing to take more risks in that regard. The problem with that is that, like you said, I swapped to the other side of the spectrum where I just ran my mouth to the wrong people. And I really, really overcorrected there. And even at this point, at the very end of the game, I can very confidently say I don't know how to find a happy medium. And that's really sad for me that I don't know how to get to that middle point. Honestly, I may talk to a few of you guys after this game to really figure out like how to find that balance because I haven't found it yet. I'm still really getting my footing on. So I just want you to know that like all of your comments about me, I will say there were reasons in my own mind as to why I made decisions that I did, whether they were based in reality or not, I don't really know. But I just want to like make sure I validate first and foremost, you are 100% correct. I completely swung in the wrong direction, and that's solely on me.
Thanks.
Well, thank you for all the compliments, Val. I really do appreciate it.
I
Sorry,
didn't even
sorry.
mean to.
Well, I do appreciate it. I have missed you as well. I'm glad that you're aware of the game that I was playing. I was hoping that some of my closest allies in the jury were like being able to vouch for me because I do know that a lot of my game is very like behind the scenes and like stuff that you wouldn't really know unless you were actually like really close with me, which you were. So you knew that I was definitely going around making a lot of relationships with a lot of people and gathering a lot of information. I knew where every single idol was. I knew where every single advantage was. I knew where everything was in the whole game because I knew that I couldn't get that stuff myself. So what am I going to do? I'm going to figure out where everything is so I can maneuver and navigate myself through the game. And I feel like I also learned from my past mistakes where I always get stuck in a position where I need to win a challenge or I'm going home. So I made sure to set up the end game where even if I can't clutch that win, my ass is going to be sitting in one of those final two seats.
Perfect. In the last 20 seconds, yeah, I think if anything, like whatever you did at the beginning of the game to really set yourself up for the rest of your game, maybe that's like a little area that you could speak to. And I just want to add that the Pussycats have been kicked out of Lake Titicaca.
Oh no.
The music is low key my favorite thing I've ever heard in my life. Cool. Thank you, Val. Thank you, thank you. Um, Next up is Bailey.
Oh,
All right,
uh,
Bailey, you're good whenever.
all right. So I just want to start out by saying that both of you were incredibly frustrating players for me to play with for different reasons. Nick, I felt like Charlie Brown and you were Lucy with the football. The amount of times where you were like, "Yeah, let's work together," only to 2 hours before the vote be like, I don't know, Bailey, maybe next round." Also, I'm gonna ask this after I say why Jared's frustrating. I was never targeting you the round I went home. I was 100% gunning for Jared. I was throwing you under the bus too, Jared, because you had been spreading stuff between us, but I did genuinely want to work with you. You were probably the only person in the game I did want to work with at that point. I do think it was a good move to get me out. And now for Jared, my fellow cockroach who made it to the end. I'm no stranger to being targeted. I was targeted the whole game too. You were frustrating in the fact that anything I fucking told you was to the rest of the game within 15 minutes. So I'm gonna start with you, Jared, because I have a question that's gonna build off your response to one of Rocky's things. Because I feel like you made a heavy mark against your own game there, because you said a mark of a truly great survivor player is being able to hold information and use it. And you never did that. You would just take the information and immediately spew it out into the game. And it worked. It caused chaos. It caused mayhem, but it wasn't always good for you. It painted a target you didn't really need. You had a bunch. I was very loyal to you until you leaked everything I did, And then I was like, okay, well, I mean, to be fair, I poisoned Hannah against you because I told Hannah everything you leaked about her. She was not happy, but I mean, come on. But I just want a response to that because why should I vote for you if you don't think you fit the basis of a great Survivor player?
So the other philosophy I have about Survivor is that the person that always wins is not always the best player on their season. I admit I am far from that, but the person that wins deserves it. And my goal right now is to convince you why I deserve it more than Nick does. In my opinion, despite everything that I did in the game, I'm trying to find the right way to say this. Even though everything I did in the game was messy and seemingly had no logic, in my mind, there were certain reasons for every decision that I made, even though that they were not good decisions. Ultimately, I think the fact that even though I was all over the place and really should not have had any business being at the end in the first place because of how I was playing, I still made it here mainly because of my own merits. So I think, why should you vote for me? I think that's why I was able to do on my own what a lot of people weren't, even in spite of how insane my gameplay is.
Okay. Okay. And Nick, I just have one question for you, and like it's not going to change my opinion, or honestly, it might in positive ways depending on how you answer. Did you ever intend on working with me, or were you always just paying me lip service? It's like, I
No.
just wanna know.
Okay. Okay. No. I did want to work with you, Bailey. I really did. The round that Val left, I felt like that was when I was trying to be the most sincere with you because I did vote for I did
You
vote.
voted for me.
I did vote for you that round. That was the round I was trying to be the most sincere with you, I felt like, but like I also felt like there was other things going on. And I remember being on my alliance call with Val and Duke and being like, there is something going the fuck on, and I don't know what the fuck it is. And I just knew that something fishy was going on. And after that round, when you had stayed, I had a thought of like, okay, I do want to try and like rekindle things with Bailey because I do think you're a really good player. And I thought that you would have ended up being my biggest op down the line if you had stayed in longer. But I thought short term, I should get in with him, right? That day, though, Duke came to me and said that y'all two were on y'all alliance call, the cockroaches, talking about me and how I was the mastermind and how I needed to go. I don't know if that's Duke lying now in retrospect, if you're saying that that wasn't the case. But then when I also talked to Jared later on that day, like right before Tribal, Jared had said to me, I withheld information from you and I shouldn't have. Bailey wants the vote to be between either you or Hannah tonight. And so to me, I was taking that as more confirmation as Bailey's ass is after me and he has to go. Because at that point in the game, you were the only person that I had heard was actively after me. Whether that's true or not, I'm sorry, but that was the information that I was being told.
No,
So
that's fair and that's good play. Like that just makes like honestly, that's a good thing for Jared. I feel because I did say that, but I mean, I was never gunning for Hannah. I was never gunning for you. I was gunning for Jared. So Jared being able to twist my words on a call to get it onto me is like impressive. But I genuinely have no hard feelings. I did feel like Charlie Brown a lot because it was just
I'm sorry.
it was every
That's a good comparison.
It
I'm
was
sorry.
like, oh Bailey, I gotta vote for you. I don't next round. But no, I think you both played good games. Like I definitely came into jury a little bitter, but I think that's just because I was exhausted. I played this whole game from the bottom, and then the minute I didn't like I was begging people to bring me in and no one would. So but I'm happy for both of you. I'm honestly still unsure where I'm voting. I think you both have played your games have more pros than cons. So I'm excited to hear the rest of your answers and closing speeches.
Thanks, Bailey.
Thanks, Bailey.
Thank you, Bailey. Alrighty, next up is Siren.
Hi, I'm on vacation. Congratulations. I think you both played amazing games. I really do. I'm very torn what to do. You also had amazing opening speeches. So bravo. You brought the fire, both of you. Very thorough, very detailed. I think Jared, something that you have in this game is you really were so much chaos, but you should not have made it to the end, but you did. You really did. And you twisted people's words, and you played a very messy, out in the open game, which normally doesn't make it to the end, but you did, because I did think you focused on key relationships when you needed to. You also did win immunities when you really needed to. I'm not that bitter at you because I never figured you were that loyal of an ally. Like, we were both kind of working with each other, like, conveniently. I'm definitely a little bit more bitter with Nick, just because I hate being blindsided. I literally can't stand it, obviously. But I think, you shared in your opening speech just how intentionally you played. And I think you played the game that I really wanted to play, which was under the radar. Like, oh, I remember both of us being on call, like pretending we knew nothing, like both of us. And it
Yep.
was just so obvious that we were both like trying to play into that narrative. And so I think you did an amazing job. And then I think you really showed in your speech like how intentional that was, and that you learned from your prior mistakes, which I think is a wonderful quality, to be like, I haven't made it to the end because of this, that, and the other. And that's what you were trying to do. So that, like, I don't know, that goes a long way for me. I am really lost on who to vote for. I think I want you to each explain a little bit more about your strategy in an intentional way. Go however you want to go with it. Say what you haven't said. If there's something we don't know, elaborate on that. But I just want to give you both an opportunity, because I do think you both played extremely different games. And I want to hear why they were intentional, and what you did in that way.
I'll go first. Okay. So I really wanted to come into this game, and I feel like my biggest strength is always that I'm a really big social player, and I'm also a very big strategy person. And so I feel like that's always the biggest beautiful mix. But within that too, I'm really bad at finding things, and I'm really bad at challenges. So I really wanted to partner up with somebody that was kind of the opposite of me. And I felt like that was with Duke. And I also felt like something else in my past experiences with games is not being able to manage my threat level, getting to a point in the game where I am the target. I am the biggest threat left, and I can't win a challenge. I don't have an idol. And at that point, I'm out of the game. So I wanted to keep Duke next to me for as long as possible. And I'm sorry that it was at the extent of you, Siren, because that's where that went. But it just was really beneficial for me, because I felt like after, like, if it was like we had talked Duke and Jared before live night, and then I go into that final five scenario, I felt like I was going to be fifth or fourth. So I feel like I specifically set my end game up before live night of how I wanted things to look, and I feel like it literally played out exactly how I expected it to. So that's why I think I deserve to win. I feel like every single decision I made throughout the way was intentional, and it got me to this spot right now. And I think I deserve it.
Yeah, so I would say in my case, I was very similar in terms of the social aspect. I really wanted to work hard and throughout the game, start and maintain social relationships where I could. I think one of the aspects where that got derailed was when I leaked the Rocky vote to you before the tribal council where he got voted out. I did not realize that that information was going to get spread around like it did. My intention with that was because you had just come back into the game, because you had bad relationships with the Urus when you got voted out. My intention was I want to at least have somewhat of a relationship with you, at least in the short term. So I figured including you in that vote would be a way for us to move forward and make you feel like we were together.
Oh, sorry, just real quick. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. I didn't leak what you shared with me. Val told me about the Rocky vote.
Oh,
So
okay.
it wasn't on you. You doing that actually made me really trust you. So it was a really great play because I was like, okay, this is the one person in this game who's being really honest with me. That was honest like right before the vote, which is great too, but still, it was amazing.
Right. And that kind of carried over into some mistakes later on. Like when again, I was very blinded where I didn't think you had wrote my name down at the Val vote. So when I talked to you about it and I found out you went to Bailey and then Bailey came to me, then at that point, the reputation of me being Emily Flippin was set in stone. But again, the intent of that was to try and maintain trust with you while also making you not trust Bailey. That was the way that I perceived it at the time, but that is an example of intention, regardless of the end result.
Oh, that absolutely worked. I didn't trust Bailey when you said he went right back to you after I said, "Hey, why did you tell Jared I voted for you in this literal moment?" And then you said, "Hey, Bailey just told me this." And I was like, "What the fuck?" So it worked. It definitely worked. Good job.
No, that's all I've got right now.
Okay, well, great job, you guys. Congratulations. Whoever wins is deserving. I think you both played amazing games for different reasons.
Thanks, Siren.
Thank you, Siren.
Alrighty, thank you so much, Siren. Next up is Jake.
Hello, hello. Okay, first off, I
Hi.
want to congratulate you guys for both being in final two. You did something we all couldn't do is get to final two. You guys don't want to yab or something. I'm gonna keep it short and simple for me talking because I want to hear a lot about what you guys say. First off, Nick, I want to applaud your strategy of laying low and like managing your threat level. I very much saw your game. I wanted to like have other people see that as well. So I saw your game a lot, and I very much respect your game in a sense, and I'm proud to see you are here final two. Um, I give a lot of my vote out here and now to you. It sounds like where's the main orchestrator behind it? Because I was very much unsure about where that kind of was. I thought it was mainly just like, hey, he's not here. Let's just vote him out and keep this in. But it sounds like if you had a lot of say in what that was, I applaud the fuck out of your gameplay because I was gonna do the same thing to you if I Final Five as well. So trust me, you got me first before I got you. So, which is great because I mean that was a great move out on your part. I do have a quick question for you. 'Cause you only start looking at final twos until in my eyes like final six or seven at this point, and say. So, what was your dream or what was your go-to final two scenario, and was it successful or not?
My go-to final two scenario was with Jared, 100%. I wanted to set myself up for this to happen, where I was in the final three with Duke, who was 100% taking me, and Jared, who would be forced to take me because there's no other options. So I always wanted to be in a situation where I could be next to someone who, no offense, Jared, I think I could beat, but also where they were kind of forced to take me over Duke. That's why I wanted Duke to stay around for as long as possible, because hell, Duke could have brought me to final two, and I still feel like I would have given him a run for his money. But yeah, my perfect scenario, my perfect final two scenario is what happened, to answer
Awesome.
your question.
And one last question. I don't want really answers to this. I just kind of want like quick yes or no type of thing. So I'm gonna run through each of the jurors. And I want you to say if you have their votes or not. So there's 9 jurors. If you're good at math, you need 5 people to vote for you in this case. So who do you?
Both of us
This,
answering? Or
this
just
is I'm gonna ask. I'm asking Jared.
Okay.
Secondly, but I'm asking you first. So just
Okay.
for Nick to answer.
Okay.
Carter, do you think he would vote for you or Jared?
He's a toss-up in my opinion. He knew us both for 2 days, so I'm
Okay.
sorry, but it could be either way.
Okay. Rocky.
Rocky, I think me.
Okay. Val.
Val, me.
Bailey.
Me.
Siren.
Me.
Jake.
Me.
Hannah.
Me.
Aaliyah.
Hopefully me.
And Duke.
Me.
Thank you. So we're good at math. That means you have more than 5. So thank you for that. I'm gonna flip it over to Jarrett now. Give him his time as well. First thing, Jared, I do want to congratulate you as well because you did get here and you did play a good game. I want to say advice for your game is what I would say is don't make promises you can't keep. That's the first thing I'll tell you. Just don't make promises you definitely cannot keep. That's first things first. I did very much trust you in this game. You were one of the people I did trust most, and I was a very straight shooter with everyone in this game, and people can attest to it. Like I was not a big liar. I told if I had something to say, I said I told you in person, this type of thing, and I don't think I needed to go back to people and be like, oh, we're good. If we're good. So if I tell you we're good until anything else. Otherwise, I think that was your big thing was you maybe didn't trust me in a sense, or you didn't feel like I was lying to you in a sense, which was not the case at all. I trusted you 100%, and I told we were on call with this. Like we were on call and we're like, hey, like these stuff that you're hearing that you're trying to misconstrue about me is not true. And we kind of were on call. And we talked about that separately. We kind of smushed that at the cases. What kind of really was the nail in the coffin for me, I think, Jared, was the fact that like we talked on live night, and I'm a straight shooter this too. So it's like if you tell me something to my face, I'm going to take it at face value with that, and I'm going to believe that. And like you said on the live night, I can guarantee you I'm not be voting for you tonight. I said cool, like I'm not going to vote you as well, and I proceed to get voted out on live night, and you were one of the votes for me. So I just felt very much hurt by that. Just as on like personal levels. That's on personal level, but game level, not personal level, but game level as well. And I want to know your dream Final 2 scenario at Final 7 onward. And yeah, and were you successful in that or not?
So I don't know if you're going to believe me when I say this, but truthfully, you were my final 2 that I wanted to go to the end. Here's what happened. At Final 6, had Duke not won immunity, I was down to write his name down. What happened is I got on a call with Duke immediately after the challenge, and we were like, are we voting for Hannah? And he said yes. I saw Nick, Aaliyah, and Hannah were in a chat with the 3 of them. And immediately in the back of my head, I was like, oh shit, are they prepared to vote for me? So I go and hop in there. They are all saying your name. And then we kind of spread around a little bit more. Me and Nick eventually get on a one-on-one, and he says, I think we need to vote for Jake because I don't think that you had Hannah as number 3 on your list. I know you had Duke as number 2 on your pre-submitted list, which turned out to be true. It just happened to be Aaliyah that was number 3.
Yeah.
In that moment, I was in a bit of self-preservation mode where I was like, if I didn't agree to vote for you, then it's very possible that Nick could have gone to Aaliyah and Hannah and forced the vote onto me. I genuinely mean this when I say this. I did not want you getting voted out. This was a situation where I was in the mindset of if I don't write Jake's name down and I don't agree to that plan, it's very possible Nick, Aaliyah, and Hannah turn the vote against me. So that is what happened. I promise you again, I wanted us to make it to Final 2. I mentioned this at the very beginning. The way I handled my relationship with you was by far the biggest regret I have had this entire game. I completely disregarded the trust that we had built at the beginning of the game, and sorry does not even begin to cut it. Like,
Good.
I really wish that things had worked out better.
I accept as well. I want to get to your last question as well before we run out. So same question
Sure.
as Nick for round 3 jury. Yes or no for votes. Okay.
Okay.
So Carter.
I'll just name them since time's running out. Okay. Carter, yes.
Rocky,
no. Val, no. Bailey, yes. Siren, yes. You, yes.
Hannah,
Hannah, no. Aaliyah, yes. Duke, no.
Okay. I think we're at 5. So I think we're
I
good.
think we were at 5. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you, fellow Demi Lovato fan, Jake Celia. Okay. Next up is that was Final 6. Hannah's up. Not me doing math behind the scenes. Hannah. Great. You're
Hey.
Start.
Hey.
What's up, you guys? Congratulations. Obviously is much needed for the both of you. I'm gonna start with Jared. And this is like, I don't want you to answer this like as like a vague like why everybody should vote for you. I want to know like why I should vote for you because for me, I think like you were right when you mentioned earlier that you were set up very well on our original tribe. I definitely had you number one in my trust ranking, so it was very but you look surprised. I told you fucking everything.
Fair enough.
But I guess like because I had you so high, it was very like frustrating, disappointing, and like just sad for me overall when like every single chance you got to meet new people, like I was constantly like cast aside, like immediately like telling Alex and Bailey all this shit about it and thinking it wouldn't get back to me. Like, come on.
Oh, that was so stupid.
And then I guess another example is like during the colors challenge, I told you like, you know, these are the people that you can switch colors with me. And then you went to Bailey, lied about it. And then when he called you out, tried to push it on me, saying like, God damn it, Hannah, like I was the one that messed that shit up.
Yeah.
So why, after you did that to me time and time again, should I vote for you?
So I want to clear something up with the color situation. With me telling more people than I should have, the truth of the matter is I genuinely forgot. I genuinely forgot who I was not supposed to tell the wrong colors to. That is seriously how messed up that whole situation was. So I just want to like clear that up with you. In terms of why you should vote for me, I would say throughout this entire game, despite not knowing how much you did not trust me, which I found out from Nick, there was still a part of me that still wanted to maintain that relationship as much as possible. I think I was kind of blinded by thinking that I could still repair that. I would say that my constant efforts, as delusional as that may be in my head, I still did try to want to move forward with you to the extent that I was able to before I thought that it might be best to cut you, not at Final Five, because had Duke not won immunity, I was voting him out with you guys. But I would say the reason you should vote for me is, in spite of my messiness, you can't deny the effort. I put in so much into this game, and I know that you're someone that values that. I think that's why you should vote for me. And I know this has been so frustrating for you. And I would like to talk more about this with you after the game. But I'd say that's why you should vote for me.
Okay, and I want to say, as much as you frustrated me in game, I still felt like I valued our personal relationship very much.
Same, 100%.
In the interest of time, I'm moving on to Nick.
Yeah.
Nick, this isn't like obviously as personal of a question, but you, I think, played a very subtle game. And like you said, it was a lot more obvious to your allies, but at the end of the day, it is harder to argue a subtle game. And I think you've done it beautifully tonight. But my question for you is, what was like your most subtle move that you think catapulted you the furthest?
Okay. I think that the most subtle thing I did was during the live night when the guys, well, like Jared just said, when me and him met each other in that like one-on-one thing, and he said Duke wants to use the extra vote to get Hannah out. And I was like, I don't want to do that. And I feel like even like Jake just now found out that that was a thing. But I think that like once Jake was out of the game, that literally catapulted me all the way to the final two, in my opinion. And I feel like a lot of people were just looking at it on like on the surface level of like Jake isn't here, it's just obvious to vote him out. I wanted Jake out because I knew that Jake and Jared were close and I didn't know that that was a thing. And that was a threat to me because I wanted to go to the end with Jared. I didn't need Jared wanting to take Jake. So I feel like during the live night when I really put my foot down there and I said no, like I'm putting my foot down and we're gonna boot Jake instead of you. I also felt like that put me in that power position again of like you and Aaliyah and then Jared and Duke and then me in the middle where I could go with the guys or I could go with the girls. And then the same situation happened again at Final Four and again at Final Three. So I feel like getting rid of Jake in the live night was really what like like slingshotted me all the way to the final two, in my opinion.
Okay, great. I'm gonna ask you one more question, just because I have extra time, and it's like I'm genuinely curious, and like your answer of like yes or no will change my opinion. I guess it's just how you explain it will change my opinion. When I went home, did you like seriously consider going for my harebrained scheme before Duke found that idol?
Honestly, no, I'm sorry. I I thought it was a genius plan, I'm not gonna lie. When you approached it to me, I was like, this girl, this is why she's gotta go. Because Hannah, I honestly thought you were gonna win the game, like if you stayed. Like I stand by that you were the dark horse of the season. Like you were being very overlooked, you were very social, you're very smart, and I feel like you were really good at challenges. You were an all-around threat, in my opinion. And in my mind, I wanted you gone before you had approached me with that plan. And then when you approached me with the plan, I was like, this girl is too fucking good. She has to fucking go. So I'm sorry, but no.
Okay. No, I appreciate the honesty. Again, congratulations to both. I think you've both done a great job at explaining your games tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, no, I don't want to turn on camera. Oops, sorry. Wrong button. Next up is Aaliyah. Aaliyah, there she is. Alrighty.
Hello, my darlings.
Hello.
First, I want to say congratulations. I'm so proud of you. So sorry for calling y'all dumb, but you're not. So congrats. I'm gonna start with Jared because like everybody starts with you apparently, and mine's gonna be like a kind of a good thing because it seems like people have a lot of negative things to say about your gameplay, and you want advice. So my biggest piece of advice is stop apologizing. Everybody has wanted you to apologize to them, but your goal here is not to get people like not to apologize to people, but to tell them why you did things. So if you did something, tell them why. Don't apologize for it because you did that for a reason. If you say that you have a reason up in your little noggin, then tell us the reason, you know?
Yeah.
Because like if crazy gameplay is your gameplay, then own that. If you play that every single way, you can't find a happy medium, then not your gameplay. Just live in that. And like we'll live in that with you, okay?
Okay. All right, I appreciate it.
And then Nick, baby, you have a very like beautiful mind, and I just like love to see your strategy play out from like beginning to end and how you think through every single move. Super love that. I don't really have like any questions because like everybody's had so many, and you guys said so many words. It's been a long time. So let's see. I don't know. I feel like I was there for so much. I do want to compliment Jared because you did put yourself in a good position with people around around like the main group of people. Because like especially after Rocky left, I like felt very isolated. And you're like one of the few people who like everybody was talking to me, but like very emptily mostly. But like you like were actually talking game to me. It might have been a lot, but it definitely got you further in the game because like a lot of times I wouldn't have voted with you if you wouldn't have came to me last minute and told me that you were thinking all of these things and then it got me wondering and then it got me going to talk to Nick about things like, hey, Jared's talking about these things. Like, hey. So but then also Nick, congrats because you were the person I was coming to at the end to like, hey bitch, Duke and Jared. Like so yeah, I don't really have any questions. So is there like anything else you'd like to share? Because I'm very very in the middle right now. Yeah, so like is there anything you guys can like say to me to like sway me to your side?
I can say something. So I want to talk a little bit more about the Final Four vote. You asked and talked about there's always a reason for me doing
Yeah,
something.
I will say that like that Final Four vote, I offered you both the exact same option.
Which is
Like,
fair.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I kind of told you both that I was offering you both the same option.
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So like I like This is the least bitter I've ever felt on the jury. And I'm
That's
so
great.
surprised. So like, I'm like so surprised everybody else is like so crazy bitter. Like, that's so
I
entertaining
mean,
for me.
it's fair. One other thing I will say about the Final Four vote, you will see this in my confessional chat once the season is all over. I was this close to forcing fire between you and Nick.
Maybe you should have.
The reason I Here's the reason why I ultimately chose not to. It came down to a couple things. Nick and I had a conversation where he was saying like it makes sense for us two to go up against Duke because he was the stronger challenge competitor compared to you. Truth be told, yes, you haven't been around because of your job as much, but when you performed at challenges, you were actually fairly decent.
I actually
I
hold
actually
two comp like records in two separate orgs.
I mean, still, even with like the skill-based challenges, like looking at like the scores and like the order of like how well you guys did, you actually like averaged about relatively even with one another. So that was not a consideration for me as to why I didn't force a tie. The reason I ultimately didn't is because Nick shared with me a document he was preparing for the Final Three Immunity Challenge. And in my head, I was like, Nick is putting in this much effort and I want Duke out. If he's putting in this much effort, then I think I have to take the chance and take Nick with me and vote you out. But also, I voted you out in part because you were a threat. But the reason you were a threat is because of the system that I helped set up with the jury, where I voted out your allies who were probably going to be voting for you.
I was literally getting so excited there at the end. I was
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, guys, is this happening? And I did not write no damn document. So like that was very smart on you, Jared. Nick?
Okay, so I'm very glad that Jared is talking about the document because that was my plan, was to make this document and give it to Jared and be like, keep me, like I'll study with you, we'll quiz each other,
Girl.
do whatever it was that whatever Jared needed to hear to make sure he was writing ALIYAH down on that parchment.
Stop it.
So I made sure, and I did not even share that document with Duke. I swear to God, like I was so locked in with Jared at that point, and I gave him my whole faith in order for that to happen. So I'm glad that that was really what swayed him, and that again, I feel like further just proves as to why you should vote for me, because that was literally what was going on in my mind of like, how do I prove to Jared that like I'm with him here, and like what am I gonna give him that like Aaliyah can't offer him? No offense, I figured that you weren't gonna make a document.
I wasn't making no document, girl.
So I literally had a document where I labeled every single day 1 through 30 or whatever it was. What happened? 29. I like everything. I had everything on the document and I shared it with Jared so that way we had it to study together.
That's crazy.
And that was what I did in order to secure my spot in the final three where both him and Duke were gonna take me.
All right, so I'm gonna use the last 10 seconds. Somebody compliment me now.
OBX, period. We love.
God, that top looks so good on you.
Thank you.
We love. We love it.
That's it. Congrats, y'all.
Thank you.
Thanks, Queen.
Alrighty, thank you, Aaliyah. And now we're going to finish it up with. Oh, he's already on camera. Okay. Okay. All right, Duke. It's all you.
What up, players? First of all, love the speeches. You guys had some great opening speeches. We're almost done with this thing. We're almost to the end where we're going to be voting. Nobody's commented on Jared, your bow tie. I think it's fire.
Thank you.
Nick, your background, on point, brother.
Thank you.
I'm going to start with Jared. Jared, agency is the most important thing to me in a game when I'm on the jury going for a vote. Although I don't think that you had more agency over Nick, I will say during this whole questioning period, you mentioned something where I think I actually overlooked your agency in this game. And I want you to talk about it. So the specific time I'm talking about is when we were talking about blindsiding either Val or Jake, and I wanted to go for Jake. but
Yes.
you wanted to go for Val. Explain why you got the upper hand over me in that, and why it was more important for you to have Jake safe in the game and have Val eliminated.
So when we got together, I had the impression when we had that conversation, you said first and foremost, you did not want to do Nick. And at that point, I wasn't going to force the issue any further. So that left one of Jake or Val. At that point in the game, like I said at the very beginning, Jake was someone that I wanted to go to the end with. You had brought up that you were fine with one of Jake or Val going, but you were leaning in Jake's direction. And when you had mentioned that, you had talked about how people seem to be good with Jake, even though he's very under the radar. I did not want my number one getting voted out of the game. So when Bailey seemed fine with going in either direction, I wanted my narrative to be the one that won out the day, where I hammered in without making it clear that how Jake and I were very close, that by getting rid of Val, we got rid of the person that was holding that side of the game together. And the unintended benefit of that, which even though you did vote for that, vote for Val, I knew that you at least had a good relationship with Val, better than you had with Jake. So for me, that was very crucial because it got Jake, well, I hope it got Jake closer to my side because Jake said that he had a good relationship with Val, and he told me this after she got voted out. So in my opinion, that move was very important for my game long term by pushing in that particular direction.
Perfect. I might have a slight question at the very end for you, Jared, but I'm going to go to Nick.
Do you?
My fellow guy, Nick. Nick, agency. I think you had the best agency in the game, and I want you to touch on. I want you to explain your social capital and agency during the Bailey and Siren votes. I personally did not have the social capital that I wanted at that time to make those moves happen, but you did, and I want you to explain why those boots in that order were good for your game.
Yeah, so I agree. Duke was literally not even around when Bailey was going home. So I was the one that put in all the legwork there. And I feel like I was able to accomplish that by going to Bailey and giving Bailey information, which Bailey then gave me information, which I then used to throw him under the bus. Because at that point, I was being told by you that he was coming for me and that he was calling me a mastermind and all this stuff. You said that you would join the cockroaches call and they were talking about me and then they would suddenly change the subject. And so like I knew that they wanted my ass out, so I need to get him before he got me. So I feel like I really use that alliance of myself, Hannah, Jake, and Siren to kind of steer that vote that way. And like I said earlier on in this, that like I lied about Aaliyah saying that she didn't want to vote for you. So that way it kind of steered the vote away from you because we were saying we needed Aaliyah's vote if they had the extra vote. And so how do we get Aaliyah to not vote Duke? By saying she didn't want to, even though that wasn't true. And then the Siren boot, I feel like that was also like you weren't really around for that. I feel like that was a lot of me and Jake having a conversation where Jake and I spoke right before he had to turn off his phone to go into his play, where he said he was ranking Siren as his first vote and you as his second vote. And I said, okay, well, this is the green light to me that I am the fourth vote on Siren, and that if I do this, like this is what's going to happen. And we'll deal with Duke afterwards if that's what happens. But I didn't want you to go at that second live round, regardless of if you won or not. But the agency that I had with Jake, or the social capital, I guess I should say that I had with Jake, was really what helped me out there because Jake trusted me enough to tell me exactly where his rankings were. So I knew how to navigate the live night, whereas you didn't have that information.
Did not, and you did, and you were sitting there now and you can receive votes. So that's really good. You were cutting me at final three, Nick.
Unfortunately, I was, Duke. I'm sorry.
You shared a PowerPoint with Jared here.
It was a Google Doc, not a PowerPoint.
Gotcha. Yeah. Of course. Technology. If I won the final three, what do you think I would have done and what should I have done?
I think you were taking me, and I still feel like you should have taken me. But I do think I would have given your ass a run for your money because I will say, Duke, my whole like thing with I was very much like torn at the final three. I came into this game with the pledge that I was not going to play with my emotions because I feel like that's what always bites me in the dust. And I fucking love you. And having to vote your ass out would have fucking killed me, but I really wanted to win this fucking game, and I knew that it was what I needed to do. So
You
I'm
didn't throw the
sorry.
competition?
I did not. I swear to God. I was
Okay.
really trying it. I'm just really bad.
I felt like me and Jared
I was
were the
like,
only ones
this looks like
submitting
I'm
anything.
throwing it, but it really wasn't. Like I was really
And then lastly, Jared, we have 20 seconds. Do you think that everything that's happened now, would you have rather faced me than faced Nick tonight?
No. I think I still would have had a harder time beating you than I would have had with any chance at Nick. I
Good
truly
luck, both
believe
of you. Good luck, both of you. You guys killed it tonight. You both deserve all the votes. So good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Duke.
Thank you, Duke. Thank you, all of our jury members, for your lovely words and your time with us this season. So we're gonna go to closing statements. You will both have 5 minutes to address the jury one last time. Do it in reverse. So Nick, you are going to start us off. Whenever you start talking, I am going to hit start. Well, you're also muted.
You're on mute.
So we're gonna
Awkward. Okay, sorry. Anyways. All right, so I'm not going to keep you guys very long. I feel like we all have heard a lot of our games here at this point, but I first want to start this out by thanking everyone from production, Drew bullying me every fucking day of my life, to all of my prod chat guests, Zach Perez, CMAC, Aaliyah, Malkin. Thank you guys for listening to my spirals. And of course, to this incredible cast. Thank you for being a part of a game that genuinely challenged me to grow as a player. I'm so happy to be leaving this game with so many new friends and people that I just want in my life in general. So, coming into this season, I knew my weaknesses. I struggled with my threat management. I wasn't a challenge competitor, and I can't find jack shit. So, I adapted. I built a game that didn't depend on those things. I built a game based on relationships, awareness, and positioning. Because of those relationships, information constantly came to me about idols, alliances, and even when my own name was being brought up. And I didn't just sit on that information, I used it. I flipped votes, I redirected targets, and I consistently made sure I was never going home. I didn't wait for the game to happen to me, I shaped it. And when you compare that to Jared's game, I believe the difference is clear. I was driving the relationships and decisions that moved the game forward, not just being part of them. And I did that while maintaining trust and connections with the people sitting on this jury. I know I made moves that impacted people on the jury, and none of those decisions were personal, but they were intentional and they were necessary to get me in these final two seats. When you look at this final two, I ask you to consider who had the most agency to make the decisions that mattered. And I truly believe that that player is me. I believe that I have learned from my past mistakes and got myself to the final two. I was always in control of my own fate. And I'm hoping that you can see the growth and the evolution in me, not only as a player, but also as a person. I'm asking for your vote tonight to recognize that game and to help me finally turn my growth into a win. I deserve the fucking crown tonight. And that's all.
Alrighty. Thank you, Nick. Jared. Well, I need to receive something.
Yeah. All right. First and foremost, I just want to say to the jury, genuinely, I do not take any issue with any of the concerns you brought me. I think all of your concerns were completely valid, and I respect all of them. I think this season truly was a learning experience for me, and I think this is an opportunity for me to take this and apply it to future games and learn from this experience. I mentioned this at the very beginning. I tend to take extreme approaches with how I play each game. Whether that's doing too much or too little, I realize that I have struggled to find that middle ground. Taking black and white approaches is something that I really struggle with in my personal life. Unfortunately, that carried into this game, and it really upset a lot of people. I'm not going to apologize, Aaliyah, but there is definitely a lot of things that I definitely regret. and things that I definitely could have improved on. What I will say though, it's not always how you start the game, it's about how you finish. And I easily finished much stronger than I started, at the very least at the merge, but there were also a lot of mistakes when I made pre-merge that trickled into the merge. But I did not let that get me down. I kept going and I improved and I made it to the end, not because people dragged me here, but because I made it here on my own fucking merits. Now, whether that earns me the win, I don't know. But I hope that my journey throughout this game has earned some semblance of respect from you all. If not, so be it. But in a season with so much going on, with so many moving parts all around, maybe, just maybe, my style of gameplay, which should never have even made it to the final two, could be the greatest representative of a massively, massively entertaining season. I ask you all to think about that. And once again, thank you all so much. Thank you to production for putting together such a successful game. And this truly has been seriously one of the most important experiences in my entire Survivor career. And I want to thank you all for that, regardless of what happens tonight. But I hope that I win. I hope that you guys hear what I've said and take that into consideration tonight. Thank you all.
Okay. Well, at that point, as they both do this, I'll join you. Everybody's doing this. Okay, cool. All right. So, jury, it is your time to please vote in your prod chats. And while you are voting, we will be sending this link to the pre-jury and see who shows up. Karen, for the last time this season, can you please give us the honors?
Now, as always, is the last time for shout outs. Anyone and everyone can come off mute and say hi, hey to someone.
Hey, shout out to Axe J's Island.
We're voting to eliminate, right?
Yoke.
And shout out to Go On.
Shout out to my podcast because they have harassed me every fucking tribal for a shout out, and I never give them because I'm petty.
Shout outs to my prod guests who have not been active in my confessional chat, but except for Tolis. Tolis has been great.
That reminds me then, I need to shout out Ryan, who was in my professional watching the game as well.
John,
When you're on camera.
John, you need to close your camera.
I didn't see anything.
Nobody saw anything.
I
It's
really
Fi-
didn't.
It's Fiji all over again.
Remember how I wasn't actually voted out of Peru and I was just voted out of Survivor Fiji? So technically, I'm still in the game.
No, you
I
came
was
back
only
and then you got voted out of the right country.
okay. So yeah, I was only voted out once then, not twice.
Who's talking?
I was talking.
Shout out to all my friends who are watching this who are texting me saying, why are you not shouting us out? So shout out Benny, Kristen, Amber, Emily, Kelly. I don't know who else is watching this. But if you are and I'm not shouting you out, text me.
Oh, I was watching this. I don't get a shout out.
Shout out Keisha.
Yes, shout out Keisha. I love you.
Shout out Alex because of something you said in pre-jury. Shout out Alex. Hey.
Okay. Before I do anything, first want to say to the pre-jury and the jury and everybody, you are able to come on camera once the votes are read. Once the votes are read. I'm sorry. I should have Val was ready. Once the votes are read, you guys are able to come on and everything. But I just want to say to everybody that played this season, everybody that watched, everybody that participated in some way, thank you so much. This was a chaotic 31 days. it went by fast, and usually whenever I think a season goes fast, that usually means it's a good season. I can speak all of prod. We all thought this was a very fun season. It was an awesome season. We're going to talk about it after we get through this, but we have a little thing called the vote to deal with first. So I have 9 votes in here. You want to see your name on the paper. You want to see your name on the paper. And I'm just going to read the votes. Actually, I'm going to go in your state. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. We're going to travel. First vote, Jared. Jared. 2 votes for Jared. Nick City. That's 2 for Jared. 1 for Nick City. Nick. That's 2 for Jared. 2 for Nick. Nick. That's 3 votes Nick. 2 votes Jared. Nick. That's 4 votes Nick. 2 votes Jared. The winner of CTC Survivor Peru, Nick City.
Well done, Nick. That was fantastic.
Thank you guys. Oh my God. I've never won an org before. So thank you so fucking much. I so appreciated it. I put my heart and soul into this fucking game. So thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you guys.
Congratulations,
oh
Steve.
Thanks, bitch. Oh,
Congratulations, Nick.
Thank you. I can't believe this.
Congratulations,
Thanks, guys.
congratulations. And also congratulations, Jared. You both raised my blood pressure and played a great game over the past 31 days. I'm still gonna need some blood pressure medicine from watching you for that long, though.
Trust me, I'm gonna need it after the season too.
Everyone's gonna need a glass of nice, like, iced tea and some snacks to read his confessional once that comes out.
Yeah.
Or do you mean wine? Because I feel like there might be some wine that is needed.
You might want to take some
any
shots,
drugs, any alcohol. Once my confessional chat opens, just get ready.
Okay, well, to those watching the stream, I understand you may want to watch the awards. However, the awards has always been a sacred thing for the cast and the cast only. So therefore, to those watching, I am sorry, but we're going to say goodbye to you here. We will be planning and I can't believe I am saying this with my mouth, our 20th season later this year. So keep your eyes peeled for that whenever that comes out. That's going to be much later this year. So to those in the stream, thank you for watching, and congratulations to Nick. And I'm killing the stream.
Thank you.
Oh, not the meeting minute.